Hey guys, Keltie and Chester here from Post Tech in Moncton. We just wanted to point something out that we've been finding lately. It's been a bit of a topic of conversation, and we'll check it out. All right, so now we're going to go check it out, and we're going to kind of walk you through the process of what it takes to get rid of these Pylex piles and replace them. So stay tuned for that. We'll bring you in on a couple more short videos on the process.
Version of a screw pile. Typically, these piles are only 4.5 long. They're made of weak metal. And they come with a bracket. Basically, the idea of it is that you can put them in the ground using a 2x4. Some people use machines, little machines to do it. They are an option for some people, for sure, as to come to like a small shed or a detached deck. But when it comes to something that's attached to a house, they're not accepted by code. And this customer here on this job put them in. He went to his local hardware store, found them. Hey, sick deal. Did a little bit of research, figured out how to put them in himself, put them in, felt good about the job. And then the inspector came from the city and realized and said, hey, those don't pass code. So he called us in, and now we're going to be pulling these ones out and putting a 7-foot helical pile down, posting pile. So I guess the lesson learned here is that do your research on the piles. Make sure you're comparing apples to apples. I mean, there's a great value here if you're going to be doing something small, but there's no way of really telling how much load you can carry with them. The guys that sell kind of talk about being able to carry up 5,000 pounds, but there's so many different variables that play into how much weight these will carry. We don't know what kind of soil they go into. This could have been dug up 8 feet down, and that's just sitting in fill. It's going to move every time the water gets into the ground. You could go down and hit a rock 3 feet down. What happens then? How do you deal with that? There's no lateral strength for these piles. So if you're going to be doing something that's freestanding, a garage, if you're going to be doing a shed or a deck that's freestanding, you can technically use them, but the whole thing's going to shake quite a bit. And really, like, are you saving money by not calling us? I don't think so.
So first we've had to lift the front of the deck up, and then now Chester is unscrewing the old Pylex pile by hand, as we don't have a machine that will unscrew these. So it's a little bit of labor-intensive work to get these out of the ground.
Yeah, so here's a great example of what's going on here. This is the Pylex post. It was down about 3 feet in the ground. Here's the post deck. Screw pile, helical pile, 7 foot long. We're going to put it down 6 feet, all beyond the frost, any kind of ground movement. When I started pulling this guy out, there's quite a bit of water around it, which means it's going to be prone to frost in the area.
And now Chester's getting ready to reinstall the posts. This time it will be a post tech helical pile under the deck. So he's going to put it in at a slight angle here, so the deck can remain intact and in place. And then when it gets to the end, we'll slide that under, and that'll resupport that front beam.
One thing that makes us different from Pylex piles, when you're putting in a Pylex pile, you're really relying on your brute strength. A lot of people put a 2x4 on it, spin it around. What are you getting for torque when you do that? Can't really tell. You can't even really tell what kind of soil they're going into, other than, hey, that went in easy, or hey, that was a little harder. Postec has pressure gauges on our machines, and you can see here as I'm working it down, the grain is going up. So we take that pressure gauge, and what we've had for the last foot or two of soil, that pressure that the PSI gives, we transfer that over to foot-pounds, which gets transferred over to how much weight we can carry per pile. These piles here, the shaft is rated for 13,000-ish pounds, but we don't need that much for a deck like this. We have closer to 8,000, 9,000 pounds to carry on it as it's going down right now. So as you can see, we got the Pylex post removed, and we put our 3 post tech screw piles underneath it. We got a flat plate on there so we catch the 3-ply beam. The deck is now secure and up to code, so the customer can now sell his property.